Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Political Ray. We've got a few stories for you today. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump has cut off funding, federal funding, to Columbia University due to the anti-Semitism riots that have been going on. They took over a library, apparently, injured a security guard, and forced the faculty out. So there's that. We also got AOC's aide apparently wasn't illegal, who self-deported, which is interesting. And but hey, at least he self-deported himself, so he can actually still try to come back into the country legally. So, but he was here apparently over a visa that he got when he was super young. We'll get into that. Um, and Angel Reese has demanded that the WNBA players get paid more money. So seems like she might take over for I forget the name of the soccer player because it wasn't really relevant. But anyway, um, we'll go ahead and just jump right into this. This is from President Trump on his Truth Social, um, putting out the statement saying that Shalom Hamas means hello and goodbye. You can choose the release of all the hostages now. Oh wait, this is something else. I apologize. Look, I got the wrong thing up there, and I apologize for that. But he has come out. He said that he is going to be cutting off funding for, which is roughly about $400 million in federal aid going to Columbia University, and it's this is from the AP. Trump administration cancels $400 million in grants and contracts with Columbia University. Um, let's see, New York AP. The Trump administration said Friday that it is pulling $400 million from Columbia University, canceling grants and contracts because of what the government describes as the Ivy League school's failure to squelch anti-Semitism on campus. And I agree. They haven't, like I said, they forcefully made their way into the library. I think it was the library. They injured a security guard and forced the faculty out. It's not okay. It's not acceptable. These pro Hamas people, I don't understand them. Probably won't ever, but there's that. But anyway, uh the notice came 5 days after federal agencies announced that they were considering orders to stop work on 51 million in contracts with the New York City University and reviewing its eligibility for over 5 billion in federal grants going forward. And it came after Columbia set up a new disciplinary committee and ramped up on its own investigations into students critical of Israel, alarming free speech advocates. Uh, Look, for one, where do these kids have? I mean, I guess they're just students. Maybe I don't believe that they're all just students. Maybe they are, but I don't think that they are. Look at this picture. I mean, they've got tents. For one, I mean, how many how many students do you know that can afford to go buy a tent? Tents aren't cheap. Even just a small, two-person tent isn't cheap anymore. Look at these tents. I mean, you got 5 sleeper tents there. Those things are, you know, pushing $150 in most cases. Where do they? Students are broke. People going to college, they don't really, typically have a lot of money. I guess if they're in the Ivy League school, they're probably getting funded by mommy and daddy. So I guess there's that. I mean, where do they find the time? Shouldn't these kids be studying, doing homework, attending classes? Maybe I'm just crazy, but I where do they find the time to do this crap? But anyway, I digress. Columbia's efforts evidently didn't go far enough for the federal government. Universities must comply with all federal anti-discrimination laws if they are going to receive federal funding. I agree. For too long, Columbia has abandoned that obligation to Jewish students studying on its campus. Again, agree. I've seen video after video after video. Um, I seen a video of a Jewish student that was getting mocked, and they were scared because they got confronted by protesters that wouldn't let them into the library just simply because they were Jewish. A student that wanted to go into the library to study, they couldn't, and the protesters wouldn't allow them in there simply because they were Jewish. It's insane. And the fact that these campuses haven't been doing anything about it because they're scared of, I don't know, bad publicity, is shameful. It's disgraceful. They should do something about it. Nobody should face that kind of criticism, that kind of they shouldn't have to deal with that when they're attending college. But anyway, again, I digress. Let's see. Da, 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 da. This was that statement was from the Education Secretary Linda McMahon. Said in a statement Friday. She later posted on X that she had a productive meeting with the university's interim president, Katrina Armstrong, rather, and anticipated working together to protect all students. Columbia vowed to work with the government to try to get the money back. I would imagine so. It's a lot of money. Anyway, and why? Just a side note too. Why is the government giving these Ivy League schools government funding? Somebody please explain to me why this is something that is actually happening and taking place. Because don't these students get charged like $80,000 a year just to attend the school? I mean, I can't tell you how many students are actually enrolled at the college, but you would think at $80,000 per student per year, that's not even including books that they have to buy. And most of that comes from the university library. And those books are not cheap either. They're $200, $300, sometimes $500 just for a book for a class that they have to have. So you can't tell me that they don't make enough money. Why is the federal government subsidizing more money to the universities? It doesn't make sense to me. Somebody can explain it to me because maybe I'm just dumb, but I don't understand why the federal government is giving them so much money if they're charging so much money per student. I don't know. The math doesn't math to me. But anyway, let's see. It is not clear which research projects or activities will be affected at Columbia, which operates a medical center among many other functions. The university said it was reviewing the announcement. An inquiry was sent to the Federal Education Department, which issued Friday's announcement along with the Health and Justice Departments and the General Services Administration. So, while the details aren't yet certain, the announcement comes as research project leaders at Columbia are figuring out their budgets for the next academic year. And they're very worried about what this means. This was said by oceanographer Robert Newton, a retired senior research scientist who continues to teach at the university. Another thing, I mean, these university professors, their salaries they're nuts. The amount of money that these professors make is it's astounding to me. I mean, I understand you're teaching future leaders, what have you. I understand it. You should get paid fairly good, wage for that. But some of the salaries that these professors have is a lot. It's a lot of money that they pay these professors. Anyway, Newton, who is Jewish, sees the government's complaints as based on a complete falsehood about Columbia being awash in anti-Semitism and indifferent to some Jewish students' reports of facing hostilities. Look, excuse me. I've seen a lot of videos. Were they at Columbia? I don't know. I couldn't tell you that. But the videos I have seen about Columbia, they're not pretty. I mean, we'll take a look at one of these real quick because this is the video where they forced their way into, I think it was the library, injuring a security guard. This isn't it's not a protest because I'm all if people want to assemble and protest, I don't have a problem with it. It's interpreted as your one of your First Amendment rights, which is it's fine. I don't care. But this is not a protest. This is a riot. People got hurt, and I think it's rightfully so that President Trump has said, "Look, you're losing your funding." He's been threatening it for a little bit now, and since they didn't do anything about it, he's like, "Okay, no more funding." So we'll take a look at this. This is, like I said, I think it's at the library where they forced their way in, injuring a security guard, and then forcing out the faculty. So take a look at this.
There's a breach.
we going up? She said. Look, I don't know that guy right there behind that other person. I don't know if he's a security guard or if he's one of the faculty, but looks like he's leaving. Look, again, I'll say it. This is not a protest. When you take over a building forcefully, that becomes a riot. And President Trump is I want to say it was President Trump, but it might have been somebody else. But there was somebody had said that these, anybody who's on a visa, maybe it was Tom Homan. I don't recall, but I just remember I just remember it being said that anybody who partakes in these riots, if you're here on a student visa, it's going to be revoked and you're going to be sent back home. I'm okay with that too. If you want to protest, again, if you're here on a student visa, you want to protest, I don't care. Our First Amendment rights do extend to, all people within the United States. You can disagree with that or agree with that. It doesn't matter. It extends to anybody within the United States. So, I think that they should have been, look, at this point, police should have been called. They should have been forcefully taken out. That's it. And again, with the funding crap, I mean, why? Why are we funding the schools? They make plenty of money. I mean, again, I'll say it again. I don't know how many students go to these schools. I don't know what their, total numbers are as far as students. But at $80,000 per year per student, I would imagine that you could fund your own stuff. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I would imagine, this is just a guess from me. How do you still need federal funding if you're charging $80,000 per student? It doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, take a look at this. This is just some of the federal funding for some of these Ivy League schools. You got $1.2 billion for Columbia. $1.2 billion. This is for the fiscal year 23. $776.9 million to Yale. $736.3 million to Cornell. Harvard gets $676 million. Why? Again, I don't know why. How many students do you actually have? And you're charging them, I mean, this is just a rough guess. $80,000 a year. It's just a rough guess for me. But I imagine it's somewhere around that area. Maybe it's less, maybe it's more. I'm not completely sure. But I would imagine it's somewhere around there. These Ivy League schools are not cheap. When I was in school, because I've got a 4-year degree, and when I was going to school, I didn't go to an Ivy League school. I went to some podunk, it was accredited, but it wasn't nothing like this. And I still paid. It was $33,000 a year for me. So I can only imagine that it's going to be at least twice that much for these Ivy League schools. Anyway, I'm behind President. I back this decision. I think that they should lose their funding. I don't think they should have it in the first place, but that's just my opinion. I'll go ahead and we'll move on to AOC, because this is great. This is a crazy story to me. This is from the Post Millennial, and we'll get into this real quick because this is wild to me. Look, AOC aide in U.S. illegally self-deports to Colombia. So she had somebody on her staff in aid who was in the country illegally, but why? Anyway, Let's see. An aide to AOC, Democrat New York, has self-deported after being in the United States legally. The aide, Diego de la Vega, where have I heard that name before? Oh, Zorro. Wasn't that the Zorro with the Antonio Banderas? Wasn't that his family name? De la Vega? I think it was. Maybe. Anyway, I digress. Again. Anyway, she said he has freedom of movement in Colombia now after he overstayed his visa in the United States. According to the Washington Free Beacon, De La Vega left the U.S. in December after he overstayed his visa that he received when he was 7 years old. Wait, so he was 7 when he got his visa. How long was the visa for? I don't know for how long they give these visas out for, but I can imagine it wasn't that long. I mean, this guy's not 7 anymore. Look at that guy. He's not 7, obviously. So, how long when did it expire? That's what I want to know. When did the visa expire and how long was he actually in this country illegally? This is a big problem that the US has. They hand out these visas to people and then they overstay the visa and they're just here. This is one of the big problems with the visa program that we have. They're just here. After that, they don't. Anyway, let's see. On Wednesday, on Wednesday, AOC praised De La Vega, saying that we love him. The aide's self-deportation came shortly after President Trump was elected in November, and since becoming president, he has pushed for mass deportation effort, rightfully so, stating that those here illegally that are also committing other crimes. Again, I've stressed this before. He's not going after just working people who are here illegally. He's focusing right now on the criminals that are here committing other crimes. And this is he's stressed this a lot. I've said it before. He's not going after, as of right now, he's not going after just illegals that are here going about their day. He's going after people that have committed other crimes in the system. I mean, we have a list. We have a list already of people that are here illegally that are in the system because they've committed other crimes. But they were never deported. So that's who he's going after first. It's a good start, especially, people, illegal immigrants that are in our prison system that our taxpayer dollars are paying for, that we're funding them to be in prisons here in the US. That's who he's getting out first. Anyway, we'll continue with this. Let's see. De La Vega has relocated to Bogota to be with his wife, who is another illegal immigrant in the U.S. And interviewed with Migrant Insider, the aide said that he was legalized in the U.S. and that he would have the freedom of movement in Colombia. It was not clear how De La Vega was able to be employed by the lawmaker, although he was barred from working in Congress because of his legal status. Um, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but that's another. How was she able to employ him as an aide to a sitting member of Congress? That doesn't make sense to me either. Anyway, De La Vega told the outlet Migrant Insider that he lived in fear of deportation because he was in the U.S. illegally. He also added that he may return at some point, many years down the line. He also added that he had a pretty good childhood in New York growing up. Okay, so just start the process now. Apply to be a citizen. Start the process now. A few years later, maybe AOC will still be in office and she can give you your job back. Maybe. I don't know. But if she says she loves you, so apply for citizenship. Once you get it, you know, then do your thing. I don't care. Come back legally. Um, Tom Homan and Pam Bondi has put out the fact that, look, if you self deported and then you try to come back into the country legally, there's a good chance you're going to get it because you self deported. So I mean, maybe he could have started the paperwork, applying for citizenship while staying in the U.S., but he self deported, which is fine. I don't blame him for that, but start the process of trying to come back legally, and then maybe you can get your job back if AOC is still in office. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe she will be, but she's making a lot of enemies, so maybe she won't be. I don't know for sure. I don't know. Since Trump has taken office, illegal border crossings have dropped to their lowest level in years. True. The Trump administration border czar Tom Homan has also referred material put out by AOC's office that teaches illegal immigrants on how to avoid deportation. There's a lot of backlash on that too. I think she might actually be facing some charges with that, but shouldn't be severe. I don't think. Maybe a fine, slap on the wrist, say don't do it again. If she does, may increase. You know, depending on severity, that kind of thing. But anyway, um, I don't, I don't, I don't think that there should be a problem with him trying to come back into the country legally. He's self-deported, and like I said, Tom Homan and Pam Bondi has said that if you self-deport, there's a good chance that you'll still be able to come back into the country legally, which I'm fine with. Do it legally, become pay your taxes, all that good jazz, get a social security number, be a part of America. I'm fine with it as long as you put America's beliefs and priorities ahead of wherever you came from. Because I will never understand leaving a country to come to America, but then still you can be proud of where you come from, but to come into this country and say that you wish America was more like the country you came from doesn't make sense to me. None whatsoever. But anyway, I digress again. Angel Reese. This is interesting. I forget the soccer player who started all this back in a few years back. I forget her name because she was that important. Anyway, this is from the NBA Central on X. Angel Reese believes WNBA players should be getting paid like NBA players. If you think about it, our shorter season makes our home games more valuable, and some of us play at a higher level than some NBA players. It's simple math. I'm gonna stop you right there because look, no, I'm not taking any credit away from Angel Reese. I'm not. She's very phenomenal basketball player. She could wipe. She'd murder me in a one-on-one. I ain't gonna lie. She'd murder a lot of people in a basketball game. But it comes down to this. The WNBA does not have the attendance that the NBA does. It doesn't have the revenue that the NBA does. The games are not as appealing as the NBA games are. There's all kinds of, and the simple fact of the matter is, you don't have the revenue. Women's and this is my belief. If women want to support women's sports, then attend the games. The more attendance they have, the more media they get, blah 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 blah. The more money you'll make. The more tickets you sell, the more money you make, more revenue off of the concession sales, that kind of stuff. But the problem is their attendance is still low. Now they did have a bump when Caitlin Clark came into the league. And Angel Reese didn't like that either because she thinks she was a better basketball player. I don't agree with that. I think Caitlin's way better than she is. But anyway, that's just my opinion. That's how I think about it. Because Caitlin Clark, I mean, she shattered the college scoring record for men and women, both. She holds that record for the most points scored because she's a phenomenal basketball player. Anyway, I'm digressing again. My ramblings just get on and on sometimes. But anyway, I think once the revenue catches up to the NBA, if it's possible, then they can start talking about, they can start paying their players more. But the NBA actually subsidizes the WNBA. The WNBA does not come close to the revenue that the NBA makes. Not even close. The NBA last year made I think I know it was 11 billion, but I think it was 11.6 billion dollars. That's what they made in their revenue. The WNBA only averages around 200 million per year. That's a massive difference. I mean, these NBA players, they're getting massive salaries because you get viewership on TV. For the most part, the games are sold out. And it's just more entertaining. It's not nothing against the women. It's not. I'll say I don't have anything against Angel Reese. I think she's a phenomenal basketball player. I'm not taking anything away from her. I'm just pointing out the fact that it's not as entertaining as the men. It's just that simple. I mean, we all love to see a good dunk. The women, I think I've seen one dunk in a WNBA game. One, I think. Anyway, like I said, now the WNBA did sign a new deal with ESPN that's going to bring in about 2.2 billion, but that's over the next 11 years. So it's not like an actual increase right off the bat. It's something, and plus the NBA owns about 60%. If it wasn't, the NBA owns about 60% of the WNBA. If it wasn't for the NBA, the WNBA would not be a thing because the WNBA they're reliant on revenue from the NBA just to keep themselves afloat. So if it wasn't for the NBA, that the WNBA would just not exist anymore. And I don't think anybody would miss it because they don't have the attendance, the viewerships aren't there on TV, all that stuff. There's a lot that goes into it. And I said it before when the soccer player was saying that they needed to be paid as much as the men do. They don't have the revenue. It's not a matter of being good, and playing hard, and because Angel Reese came out and said that, look, we play harder than most men in the NBA. Okay, that may be true, but your revenue's not there. You don't bring in enough money to justify paying your players more. That's just the simple truth about it. But anyway, that being said, we'll take a look at this clip. She was on, I don't know what this podcast is or what, if it was even a podcast, whatever. But this is a clip that's roaming around on X saying that, Angel Reese is saying that, look, we'll sit out if we don't get paid the money that we deserve. Again, and I'll stress it just one more time. The revenue is not there. You don't make the money to justify paying you and other players more money. It's just not there. Caitlin Clark, she got a very low contract. I can't remember the exact number, but it was less than $1 million per year. And she went out and she got a contract with Nike. She did some commercials, other stuff. She got endorsements, that kind of stuff. She's making pretty good money as far as that goes. She makes pretty good money. Angel Reese is doing the same thing. She's still making pretty good money. Nowhere close to what the NBA players are making. But again, the revenue's not there to pay these players what they want. That's the simple truth to it. You can hate it all you want, but that's just all there is to it. There's not enough revenue to pay the players what they want. And if women agree with them, then go support them. Go to the games. Pay for the tickets. Buy some concessions. Help them make the money that they want to make. It's simple. Anyway, take a look at this clip with her saying that they will sit out if they don't make the money that they want. I don't see that happening, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, the CBA is coming up. I can't wait.
Girl, y'all benefited from everything. Y'all youngins benefited from NIL.
What does that mean? We deserve more. Everybody.
I agree.
Everybody.
I agree with that.
But we got to face the consequences.
Y'all got to deal with something.
But the women coming in, not this year, but next year.
Yeah.
The ones coming in this year will still be on the rookie contract again. Mm-hmm. The ones the year after, they going to get more. They probably going to be making more than us.
Oh, they are.
I'm hurt.
They are.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
That's not how that works.
I've been in the meetings. They are.
I need to get in the meetings.
You need to come to the
I
meetings.
got to get in the meetings because I'm hearing they don't give us, if y'all don't give us what we want, we sitting out.
That's a possibility, for real.
Yeah, the CBA is coming.
Okay, sit out. Look, if you want to sit out, that's your prerogative. That's fine. I don't care. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you sit out, it's not going to look good for you. People are going to want to work with you. But that's just my opinion. She's a good basketball player. Should they get paid more? Probably. I don't have a problem with them getting paid more. But the revenue's not there. It's simple. It's just that's it. That's all there is to it. And I don't believe that players coming in next year, as she says, they are going to get paid more than her. I don't think that that's going to be the case. She's a good basketball player. She's been playing good. I looked at some of her stats. She's doing really good. So when her contract negotiation comes back up, she should, she'll probably get a little bit more money. She'll still be making more than what the new rookies coming in are going to make. That's my belief. I just don't see her not making. I don't see her making less than what the rookies that are coming in. I don't see that being a thing. but she believes it, so I guess whatever. Anyway, so there's that. Let's see. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it for today. But hey, appreciate you hanging out. It's Saturday. I know that the news ain't so fantastic on Saturdays and Fridays, but excuse me. Maybe something crazy will happen. There's still a lot of crazy stuff coming up. We'll see, but I'll let you know. Appreciate you hanging out again, and if you like my ramblings, you can follow me on Rumble, and you can also go to YouTube and subscribe to me there too. But I don't know if you would, why you would want to go there. Just go to Rumble. That's the place to be. You can also follow me on X at The Political Ray. And again, appreciate you hanging out. Y'all have a great day, and God bless.